Pretty good on our time.
Yeah, it's on. You're on.
Yep. Okay, I'd like, we're going to open this meeting, call the meeting to order. If we could please... What about roll call? That's down here, okay. If we could do first the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this point, I'm going to be asking for a moment of silence for a few people. Vincent Drago, Austin Flores, T. Scott Kirk, Joseph Liberati, Charles Honorado, Patsy Volcano, and others who in our community have suffered the loss of a loved one. So, silence, please. Okay. And Joan, if we could have roll call.
Mr. Lawrence?
Here.
Mrs. Ellison? Here. Mrs. Matthews? Here. Dr. Moscatus?
Present.
Mr. Pinnabone? Mr. Riley?
Present.
Mr. Ryder?
Here.
Dr. Volcano?
Here.
Mr. Payne?
Here. At this point, you're going to find tonight we do vary a little bit from the agenda you've seen in the past and some other things. We just came out of an executive session discussing personnel matters, and based on that, we did not finish all the items, and there are a couple items to be voted on tonight, and when we get to the public to be heard, if you go to discuss some of the items that we have not discussed that are personnel, I will ask you to please wait until after we discuss them in case we would pull them from the agenda. There are going to be other items in the agenda, such as setting the board meeting dates, which the board is going to be discussing at that point in time. We have not even said anything yet. So that's going to be our look ahead for the future. With that being said, I'd like to move and ask for a motion for the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Do I have a second? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? We had the minutes that were attached for the last board meeting, and I need an approval for those. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Again, any comments, questions, corrections? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? We're down to presentations. And Mr. Siegfried, I believe you're up first.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. You have an agenda item for the approval of the Andrew D. State Creek Memorial Scholarship, which is to be given annually to a business major attending a four-year institution in memory of my son, Andrew. Andrew lived in Arlington, Virginia, working in Washington, D.C. as an economic research consultant. This scholarship came about by the unexpected death of Andrew this past April at the age of 32. His autopsy showed an enlarged spleen, and Andrew died to loss of blood from the rupture of his spleen. The autopsy also found that he had infectious mononucleosis. He bumped himself in the morning getting ready for work. Apparently, after bumping his abdomen around 9 a.m., this caused his spleen to rupture and led him to have trouble breathing. He called 911. We were then advised that it can take as little as 2 hours to bleed out from this type of injury. While our sons, Ben and Andrew, were band members, my wife served as a nurse with the high school band. Students were sent along on band trips, such as the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans and Disney World in Florida, that knew they had mono, but didn't mention it until they became so ill and fatigued and the parents had to be called. Parents don't know the danger of mono, nor did my wife or I. I'm hoping by telling you the circumstances of Andrew's death this evening, that parents, as well as you, the board, will now be aware of the real danger of mono, and that just maybe another son or daughter will be saved by something that we as parents always felt was a passing childhood disease similar to the measles or chickenpox. Please make everyone involved with your students aware of how dangerous mono can be. Please consider a policy that any student who had mono be totally cleared from their doctor before returning to school and activities. A simple bump in the crowded hallways could be deadly, depending on the severity of the mono. Mono can be a killer. We now know from experience of how it has changed our lives forever. Thank you so much for allowing me to share Andrew's story.
Thank you, Rich.
Moving on, next is Julie Ward.
Hello, my name is Julia Ward, and I'm a junior government and law major at Lafayette College. This semester, I did an internship with the Alliance for Sustainable Communities, in which I focused on sustainability and public health. School buses are the safest method of transportation for children to get to school, but is it necessarily the healthiest? As you can see, both Lehigh County and Northampton County are considered to be at the highest risk when it comes to diesel pollution. What is PM 2.5? Particulate matter is a term for particles found in the air, including dust, dirt, soot, and smoke. PM can be suspended in the air for long periods of time. PM 2.5, or fine particulate matter, is a small particle that is released into the air. When released, it can cause numerous health problems because this particle travels deeper into the lungs due to its small size. And it is made up of heavy metals and cancer-causing organic compounds as well. From previous PM 2.5 research, I found on the EPA website an image that illustrates how small fine particulate matter really is. It is smaller than 2.5 microns, which is 100 times thinner than a human hair. There are three main sources of PM 2.5. The first one is fuel combustion, and then industrial processes, and the third is diesel and gasoline pollution. Each of these areas needs to be discussed regarding the major types of asthma, related air pollution, and other health problems. Even though it may be obvious that industrial pollution and fuel combustion far exceeds diesel and gasoline pollution, the effects of both diesel and gasoline pollution occur right in front of us. You are exposed to these chemicals even when walking down the sidewalk of a busy street, and the children in the school district are exposed to these chemicals when walking to their school bus. It is not just an environmental issue, but a serious health problem. These high air pollution levels can aggravate asthma, aggravate allergies, and lead to chronic bronchitis. It can also cause an increase in school absences, ER visits, and even premature deaths. As you can see from this image that shows the projections from the entire state in 2010, there are a lot of health problems that do arise due to exposure of diesel fine particles. And at the same time, you can see that there's an absurd amount of money that is being wasted on this issue. In terms of the Easton Area School District, these buses have been doing a pretty good job of not idling, which reduces the amount of diesel pollution. But from my findings throughout the semester, I've noted that around 20% of buses still do idle. These buses are not exempt under the law, even if they are considered to be new models. Bus idling is a direct threat to children because they have to walk right through the diesel pollution, so they're directly exposed to these effects at this time. What can you do? As members of the school board, there are many things that you can do as leaders of the education community. Enforce an anti-idling policy in the Easton School Area District. Bus drivers should turn off their buses upon arrival to the location and only turn their buses back on when the buses are fully loaded with all the children. Identify walking routes to school where kids are exposed to lower levels of diesel pollution, especially away from trucks and buses. And educate parents and other students about these walking routes. Encourage parents to turn off their vehicles when waiting in the pickup line. Most parents probably don't even know what idling is, so it's up to you to create awareness and educate the public about this issue due to the fact of how much it affects children's health. And use this unofficial ticket. This is another easy way to grab parents' attention while waiting in pickup lines, if they idle for long periods of time. Place the anti-idling sign outside the school during pickup and drop-off. This is weatherproof and two-sided and easy to move around. You can also display this anti-idling poster that I worked on throughout the semester to display during parent meetings and functions. The Alliance would be happy to help make this happen. It's a perfect time to grab parents' attention and use the large poster. Even if they do not read the whole poster, it's easy to see the overall message from the titles. Overall, it's just up to you to create this public awareness about the issue. It is about what you can do to protect children's health, and I'm sure that is your main priority in the school district. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Should I ask, were there any questions for Julie before?
I just have one comment. Julia was, I met with her a couple times on this presentation, and she had given me her original and draft copy of the flyer, and this is the final copy here that she brought tonight. She also sent one to me that I will pass on to the board members so that everyone has a copy of the official final copy.
We are at that point in our agenda for interested citizens to address us tonight on the items that are on the agenda for discussion. Is there anybody that would like to address the board this evening? Mr. Anderson? No. Anyone at all? Very good. Then we're going to move on. We have the reports, the superintendent's report.
First, I would like to recognize Mr. Siegfried. Obviously, Mr. Siegfried has been a planning board member. We did recognize his son when this tragic incident occurred, and tonight I'm going to recognize other members of our community. And every day that we lose someone precious, it affects all of us. So our thoughts are certainly with you and your family. And thank you for what you did tonight.
Thank you.
The Easton Area School District would like to respectfully acknowledge and celebrate the lives of several employees, a school board member, a former student, and 2 parents that touched the hearts of our community. Charles M. Otrano dedicated his time as a director on our school board. His wife is an employee with us. Austin Flores graduated from Easton Area School District. Joseph Liberati was a former teacher and a current student, as current superintendent of the Southern Lee High School District. T. Scott Kurt was a former teacher and retired with 35 years of service. Conchetta Drago was the mother of Tom Drago, our Director of Technology. And Patsy Volcano was the father of Dr. Volcano. Our thoughts are with each of their respective families and friends. Their legacy will live on in the minds and hearts of the children, family, and community members whose lives they have changed forever. The Easton Area School District is committed to challenging and engaging young minds to better themselves, to reach new heights, and to believe in themselves. Our community will miss all these individuals as they have exemplified these characteristics. We did our moment of silence, and as each day, when we wake up, it is a precious day. And as we move forward in our community, I would like to acknowledge all of our new board members, and as a collective whole, we will continue to do the best for our students, for our staff, and for our community. So welcome new board members.
Thank you. Mr. Simonetta.
Nothing this evening, but we're just gearing up for the next couple months with budget process and information, so we're going to stay quiet for now.
Mr. Spry.
I just have a report for the second executive session.
Okay. And our student, and I'm sorry, I don't know a name. Mr. Cuck, do you want to introduce?
Members of the board and members of the board, this is one of our 12th grade students, Brandon, and Brandon is here to speak to you tonight on behalf of the Student Council of Easton High School. Okay, Brandon.
Alright, yeah, like he said, my name is Brandon Scott. I'm the secretary of the exec board at the high school, and I'm just going to go over certain things we did and planning to do. Basically, we had our turkey day that we focused on mainly last time, and that was a complete success. We won the game, and The powder, our student council had part in the Powder Puff game. We ended up raising a little more than $600. I don't have the exact number with me. And we plan on donating our half of that money to the Safe Harbor in the memory of our fellow classmate, Greg Burns, who passed away last year. And new stuff that we're trying to figure out is the winter formal. That should be held on December 17th at the Estonian from 6:30 to 10:30 p.m. And tickets should be $20, and we're hoping the max we can sell is $300, so we're trying to get as close to that as possible. And that's basically what we're planning right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
PTA report. No report this evening. Principal's report.
Good evening. My name is Josephine Galloway, principal of Shawnee Elementary School. On behalf of the principals, we'd like to welcome our returning board members and welcome our new board members to the school community, and we look forward to a positive and collaborative, cooperative, productive work relationship in the upcoming school year, so welcome. At this time, just wanted to highlight some of the activities, some of the functions that the principals are focusing their work on. At this time of year, much of our work focuses on student assessments and the analysis of those assessments and how best teachers and educators can adjust what we're doing in the classroom with our curriculum. And that's basically the heart of where we are at this time, and analyzing our DIBELS assessments, our foresight assessments that helps gear us up towards those foresights and the PSSAs that are given in the spring. We are working under a slightly new process this year with how we monitor and how we analyze that data, and that's coming along quite nicely with our core data team members in the building. We are also working on the implementation of what we're calling a slightly revised format for how we conduct our walkthroughs and what we call our collaborative conversations with teachers. And we're working on that initiative with Dr. Roberts and Dr. Thrush, who works with our district. And some of our after-school programs are definitely up and running in the elementary schools. And those programs help us focus on identified students who, through those assessments that I mentioned, show a need for some extra academic support in addition to the supports that we provide them in school as well. So things are up and running and going fairly smoothly at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm back here checking things off my list as Josie welcome the new school board members, but I'll still take this opportunity as a representative for the secondary level. Those of you who don't know me, I'm Mr. Cuck. I'm the principal of grades 11 and 12 at the high school. But I also look forward to working with you, and I speak for the rest of the administrative team at both the 7-8 and the high school in terms of this new opportunity. As Ms. Galloway mentioned, we are looking at various forms of assessment data. One of those pieces right now is the foresight scores. We're looking at those grades 7 through 11. In grades 7 and 8, we give an assessment. In grades 9, 10, 11, we give an 11th grade assessment. And what we're looking for is growth, ensuring that our students are moving from test 1, the baseline to test 1, and showing growth over that period of time. And we're trying to use some of that information to pinpoint specific student needs and try to address those in the classroom through instruction. But the other thing that I felt very important to express to the board is what we're currently doing to create a RTII, or a response to instruction intervention structure at the secondary level. And it's quite a task to be able to do that. But what we're trying to do is to identify what's going on in our core instruction, coming up with assessments to ensure kids are getting that core, and then those that aren't are going to be receiving the necessary interventions. During that time period, we are using other diagnostic assessments to ensure that we're getting the students the right intervention to see growth. And we're going to plan on progress monitoring those pieces as well. And then the classroom diagnostic tools from the state of Pennsylvania is something that we are using right now for mathematics. And we continue to look at other ways to assess both math and reading to pinpoint direct student need. Foresight gives us an idea of where they're progressing throughout the course of the year, but we need some more diagnostic tools to kind of pinpoint specific instructional needs of our students. We're doing the same thing at the 7-8, at EAA, and at the high school, using our behavior discipline through our SWIS system. in making determinations in individual student need, but more so building need. Addressing problem behaviors, determining what sort of course of action we're going to take, and then also finding positive ways to reinforce those behaviors that we want to see in our schools 7 through 12. As Brandon mentioned, it's a very significant time of the year, Thanksgiving for our high school. One thing that I wanted to make sure that I had an opportunity to mention is the class of 2010 did give 2 $1,000 scholarships to the Greg Burns Scholarship Foundation and to the Louis Agoiba Scholarship Foundation. 2 students who meant a lot to their class, exemplified what Rovers truly are. In the class of 2010 did an outstanding job of coming back, after their freshman year in college and giving those scholarship checks to the mothers of both Gregory and Lewis at the pep rally. It's something that we've been adding in addition to the pep rally. Last year we had $3,000 donated to Angel 34, and I think it's a new piece to that tradition where Rovers give back, and it's just an exceptional time. So I'd also be remiss if I didn't have to take this opportunity to thank the school board and the community both here and at Phillipsburg for their continued support for this Thanksgiving tradition. Each time that I play a role in this, alongside of our athletic director and band director and cheering coach and football coach and the Hall of Fame committee, and I could just go on and on about the various stakeholders that are involved in this community event from both sides of the river. And it's very important to keep that tradition alive here for both Easton and for Phillipsburg. So I'd like to take this time to thank those people who provided that support. It takes a lot to put into the organization of this particular event, whether it be for the bonfire or sleeping out in the pouring rain, Brandon. But from the firefighters to the EMS to all of those individuals that are there time and time again, it's just a great opportunity, and I'm absolutely privileged to be part of it. Mr. Pokrivsak and I said it on the sideline. We could be home eating turkey like half the ADs and principals in the area, but we wouldn't have it any different than to have that experience to be out there with our students and 14 or 15,000 people from both sides of the river. And I didn't want that to go unnoticed. So thank you, and thank you to the community as well. That's my report.
Thank you. Continuing with reports, I'm going to look to Helen Jones. Anything for this evening?
I thought you'd be a her. She's trying to send me home, too.
I wanted to spare her from the cell phone issue.
I just want to say welcome to all the new members, the old members that are coming back. We've always worked well together before. I look forward to working with all of you in the future. And for the young lady, I know she left from Lafayette College, that spoke about the buses idling. Okay, your schools do have posters on the walls and all outside, okay, stating no idling zones. The police have come by and reminded the buses at the terminal about no idling zones. We have information inside the terminal for the drivers about no idling, so there shouldn't be any excess idling of the buses. The only time you might see that is, if we're at 0 degrees, okay, we do have to keep the buses somewhat warm so that they don't die on you and we can get the children to school. Okay, but that would be the only time really that you'd see or should see the buses idling. Once again, welcome. Look forward to working with you. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Jenna?
Again, we'd like to welcome everyone. It's kind of interesting. It'll take me a little while to get readjusted to visual, so this is going to take a little adjustment, but I'll get there. To kind of piggyback what Mr. Cook said, I wanted to acknowledge the hard work that Mr. Cook put into these wood collecting and the sleep out, and you were a champ out there in the rain. May have lost his shoes a couple of times, but it was an interesting waterlogged event, fun to be had by all. So thank you for all of your hard work. I actually have a lot of stuff this month, which kind of surprised me when I started putting it all together. First, I have PSEA is running a Stop the Voucher campaign. Each of the teachers and association members in our local district received postcards. They look like this. I brought some extra blanks tonight. I will leave them up here. They are postage paid, and we are running a campaign to pretty much swamped the legislators' offices with please vote no on vouchers. So I wanted to make these available to you guys as well. I tried to get as many blanks as I can, so if anyone wants one, please feel free. I get to take them to the post office tomorrow. Kind of excited. I get excited to send large volumes of mail, so it's been a pretty successful campaign, and I wanted to include you. The other big piece we have going on right now is our Luminaria campaign. This was a teacher idea, and we decided to piggyback what is being done in Bethlehem. For the last 13 years, Bethlehem has had a Luminaria night, and their night is actually December 10th. They light up the Bethlehem community. Last year, they raised over $50,000 for New Bethany Ministries just by selling these paper bags with candle in them. We are doing the same here, and the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds will go to Safe Harbor. They do some great work for individuals, and their funding has been very much depleted. I've never been so excited to check the mailbox every morning. Probably the last time I was excited to get mail like this was when I was getting RSVPs for my wedding. So every morning I like to check the mail. I brought some order forms for you guys too. Anyone, please feel free to take one. Just need to fill it out and send it over to EAEA, and we will take care of the rest for you. Getting very excited. We forego every Christmas holiday season, the Rep Council, we usually buy poinsettias for everyone. We skipped that this year, and Rep Council decided to donate that money towards the Luminaria event, and we will be lighting up the circle in downtown Easton on the night of December 18th. So the Teachers Association will be lighting up Easton. Very exciting. Started with a teacher idea and has manifested into lots of fun. So that is what's going on with that. And our favorite portion of the night, the Teacher of the Month and the Partner in Education. I get very excited when I read these nominations. It's wonderful to see teachers acknowledging other teachers' hard work. We never get the time to say thank you, and wow, that was really exciting. Rep Council has no idea who these people are when they vote for them, so that to me means even more. Our Teacher of the Month is a teacher. He pretty much does everything. He is one of those people that is looked to be a leader in his building, but he's a quiet leader. He works well with everyone, and the kids look forward to seeing him every morning. He teaches at March Elementary School, and is our physical education teacher there, Mr. Jack Rutledge. And his picture with Marla Kinney. Marla Kinney was last month's Teacher of the Month, so we have two teachers from March back to back. He was elated this morning when I got to tell him, so congratulations to Jack. All right, and our Partner of Education. This person is the model of what a partner should be. She's taken a life-impacting family crisis and shared it with us as the community as a whole. She's made a personal impact on me, but this community has taken to folding paper cranes and shaving their heads, all so that she can help carry out the vision of her son. And she's an amazing person, and she definitely deserves all the acknowledgement. She every day gets up and makes sure that her son's last wishes are definitely carried out. So our Partner in Education this month is Mrs. Susan Hurd. And I got to do that without getting choked up, so I'm proud of me. And that is all we have in this short month of December. Yes, Mr. Mulcahy.
We're going to go into an executive session, I think, right? If I'm not mistaken, after this. How are you going to get those cards that you have in your hand with you?
Would you like me to send them with you into executive session?
Yeah, because we could do, maybe take a minute and do them and bring them out the door.
I'll make sure they're in there?
Yeah, because otherwise we're going to obey them here, you're going to go home, and it will be counted in the batch.
That's fine. I will make sure they are available to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Earlier, I gave a brief update on the executive session, so we're going to move on. One of the things of note, I think, to both Jenna and also to Helen. Oh, Jenna walked. She looked out the door. She did. Jenna, I said one of the things of note as a change on the agenda. This board recognizes the importance of education and the employees that we have in this district. And going along with that, one of the agenda changes we've made is for when we have employees that retire, that we acknowledge it. And therefore, separately, personnel is now putting out to us, and we will be taking in the next motion here, that we acknowledge those people. And obviously, if they would be here, we'd acknowledge them even more. But instead of
I will
reading
make
this,
sure they get the message.
but we feel that's very important.
Thank you.
So, with that being said, I'm going to ask for a motion with regrets for the people that are listed this evening that are retiring from our district. Do we have a second? Thank you. Any comments or questions? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? We have various personnel matters. Can we have a motion for the approval of the personnel issues?
So moved.
Moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? We have new business, where we have trips. We have the issue of the, I have to do that one first because the second one is a motion to deny. So we will take new business field trips. Can we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? We have a motion to deny. That's the important one. So I need the motion to deny the foreign exchange students.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the administration's recommendation to deny the admission to the foreign exchange student.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Okay. Any comments or questions?
I have one concern. I think that as we move forward with this policy and the denial of this foreign exchange student, we need to recognize a couple limitations within our policy and perhaps our procedural limitations. It would be helpful within the policy if it stated specifics as to how many students we're going to allow at the high school per calendar year. Because I think it lends itself to some, it's difficult for the community to understand and to realize when you're maxed out. And apparently this year we've decided that there's a maximum number, and I don't believe that we ever had that number in years past. Also, I think that it would be helpful if we procedurally made it noted to the community how we go about applying for foreign exchange students to come in, so that there is a procedure that community families will know that they have to follow.
Okay. Very
And
good.
time frame wise.
Notes that I'm making are that's something that we want to refer back to policy for policy review and establishing new policies. That being said, are there any other comments? We have a motion and a second here for denial. Any other?
Just one other question. I have a question this time. I still have a concern. I have a concern that we have apparently four, it was listed in the document that we received, 4 exchange students currently. And apparently this year they've decided that that's the amount that they want to handle. And I have a concern that that wasn't noted to the community. People had proceeded in going through the process of getting foreign exchange students without that notice being out there. So I do have a concern for this particular denial.
Steve?
Yeah, I'd be more than glad to speak to that. One, this company who